Okay, hello sa inyong lahat. Ngayon ay pag-uusapan natin ang unang topic dito sa subject na to, ang Introduction to Hydrometeorology. Before all of that, let us first define what is hydrometeorology. Hydrometeorology basically is an intermarriage of two fields, hydrology and meteorology. In order for us to have a basic understanding of what hydrometeorology deals with, so kailangan muna natin sigurong pag-usapan kung ano ba yung dalawang field na na pinagsama para mabuo itong field ng hydromet. So una ay we have hydrology. So hydrology is a science, no, dealing with water distribution as well as water occurrence on and under the Earth's surface. So pinag-uusapan din dito sa field na to kung ano ba yung nangyayari after umulan. So meanwhile, meteorology is the study of the atmosphere. So kasama dito sa pinag-aaralan sa field na to, yung water movement, so either in the form of liquid or water vapor in the air. So yung mga different processes like evaporation, condensation, precipitation, dito po nagpo-fall down sa meteorology. So both of these two fields deals with the hydrologic cycle. So yung hydrologic cycle, this is just basically the circulation of water from land to ocean and to atmosphere. No? So what meteorologists, hydrologists, and engineers realized is the potential value of meteorology in developing water resources and in flood control. So dahil nga yung ating hydrologic cycle is basically dominated by atmospheric processes. So yung mga atmospheric processes na yun, as mentioned earlier, includes evaporation, condensation, precipitation, and so on. So ito yung mga atmospheric processes na nandun din sa hydrologic cycle. Itong hydrometeorology, it deals with borderline problems between hydrology and meteorology. So in order for us to have a working definition of what hydrometeorology does, so ito na yon. So hydrometeorology is basically a meteorological approach to hydrology problem. So may mga problem tayo in hydrology na ang gagamitin nating approach in order to solve this is meteorological approach. Yan yung basic ating working definition ng ating hydrometeorology. Okay. So now we proceed to some applications of hydrometeorology. So the development of this field is closely linked with the increasing use of meteorology sa pagsosolve natin ng mga hydrological problems. So ito ay ilan lamang sa mga applications ng hydrometeorology. Una is estimation of evaporation is used in conceptual hydrological model. So, halimbawa dito, syempre, so meron tayong halimbawa lakes, ponds, or reserva. So, pwede nating i-estimate yung evaporation. So, this is an approach in meteorology para makita natin yung water losses dito sa lakes, ponds, and reservoirs. So, this is a problem in hydrology and it can also be used in assessing water requirements of crops. So, yan. Ikalawa is ito. Design and construction of water resources such as dams and reservoirs that this use rainfall data. Sa pagde-design natin ng mga water resources projects, siyempre, kailangan mo munang mayroon kang basis na data, so yung rainfall data in particular, para ma-justify yung plano natin na itayo itong mga water reservoirs project sa naisip nating site. So, these dams serves as source of both renewable energy as well as fresh water sa agriculture sector. So also as well, these dams reduce hydrological risk like flooding and drought. Okay. So next, estimation of highest floods from discharge records in order to design spillways into the dams, which will protect the dam during storms. So, how can we estimate the highest flood? So, depende yan sa long-term long-term data record natin ng rainfall. Siyempre, itong rainfall na to is part of meteorology. So, kung meron tayong long-term data ng rainfall, so we can use this data and estimate how much flood waters or how high is the flood. Nang sa ganon, yung ating dams, yung pagde-design natin in particular sa spillways ng dams ay justified. At this spillways kasi will protect the dam in strong storms. Okay. Next ay this one. Estimation of magnitude of inflow based on rainfall forecasting for reservoirs to operate and accommodate incoming flood waters. So kailangan nating i-estimate yung rainfall, of course. So, syempre, di ba, kapag yung ating mga dams, for example, dito sa Nueva Ecija, yung Pantabangan Dam. So, depende yun sa level of water level niya dun sa dam. So, kapag meron tayong bagyo, tapos the dam can hold the water pa, kaya niya pang within spillage level pa siya. So, hindi muna sila magpapakawala ng tubig. Pero kapag nandun na siya sa threshold ng spillage level, so ang tendency is magpakawala na ng tubig, and ayun. So, okay. So, next is wind assessment over reservoirs to calculate water heights which is needed for freeboard requirements. So, syempre, sa ating mga dams, so, may mga hangin dyan over the surface. So, and this wind causes the dam to produce water waves, no? Yung alon. So, depende. Siyempre, kung malakas yung hangin, kailangan mong mas mataas yung freeboard requirement doon. So, yung freeboard, yun yung parang allowance, parang sa ganon. Hindi mag-spill outside the vicinity of the dam yung tubig. Okay. So, and sixth is to design and construction for purposes of sizing waterway openings under bridges, culverts for highways, and rails, etc. So, dito syempre, yung mga iba't iba nating structures na kailangang ma-maintain na hindi siya bahain. Like for example, itong mga roads natin, bridges, and so on. So, upon looking to the data records of long-term data records of rain gauges, so pwedeng ma-estimate ng mga engineers, ng mga gumagawa ng mga construction works na to, pwede nyo ma-estimate kung gaano karaming ulan. Nang sa ganun, ito yung magiging basis niya kung gaano kalaki yung i-construct nilang culverts sa mga highways and so on, urban storm sewers, drainage, stream control works. So, yan yung basis nila sa constructing these structures. Okay, punta naman tayo sa hydrologic cycle. So, hydrologic cycle is basically a continuous chain of movement and interchange of water between oceans, atmosphere, and land surface, as well as below land surfaces. So, it has basically four basic components. So, kasama dyan yung evaporation, transpiration, precipitation, groundwater, and runoff. So, hydrologic cycle. So, we begin with evaporation of water and transpiration of water from plant surfaces. Evaporation naman sa mga non-living areas like ocean, lakes, or even sa mga land surfaces na merong tubig. So, moisture na content natin, yung moisture ay tumataas. So, dahil sa pagtaas sa rising air action ng hangin, rising action ng hangin, habang tumataas yung air with moisture, so lumalamig ito and it forms into cloud after reaching some height. And when these clouds cannot hold anymore, dahil hindi na siya masuportahan din ng rising streams of air galing sa ground, So, ang tendency is that babagsak na yung tubig. So, in the form of rainfall. And then, when it rains, so ang tendency is that pwede siyang mapunta sa ocean or sa mga water bodies or even in the land. So, pwede rin siyang mapunta doon. So, what happens is that some of the water na napunta dun na bumagsak, the rainfall na bumagsak sa ground, surface, sa land surface, is that some of it might be readily absorbed by the land through the process called infiltration. And meanwhile, some penetrates the ground in a deeper level, to the deeper level, and this is process called percolation. So, nagiging groundwater na siya. Yung mga nandun naman, nasa surface na natira dahil nag-saturate na yung soil. Sila yung baha o tawag natin dyan ay surface. So, pero isa-isa natin yan later on kung ano yung mga yan. Okay, punta naman tayo sa evaporation and transpiration. So basically, evaporation is just the process of changing the state from being a liquid going to gas. So galing siya sa pagiging water going to water vapor. So this basically occurs from oceans, lakes, streams, as well as land surface. So meanwhile, transpiration is loss of a plant's water to its environment through evaporation. So this basically occurs from vegetations, plant, leaves, and forest. So anong kaibahan ng dalawa? So evaporation sa mga non-living things yan. So like, syempre, yung oceans, lakes, streams, and land surface. So it is being readily evaporated. Meanwhile, transpiration, nangyayari yan sa mga plants, no? Vegetation, sa mga leaves, as well as sa forests. So, ito naman ay physiological process. Meanwhile, evaporation is a physical process. So, yan. So, yan yung unang process involved, hydrologic process that we have. The next is condensation. Condensation naman it is a change of state from gas going to liquid. So, galing sa water vapor going to water in the form of clouds or dew. So basically what happens in this diagram is that when the air is warm, so tendency is that it rises. So kung may moisture dyan, syempre idadala niya yung some of the moisture ng ground evaporate kasama ng air, rising air. So as the air rises, no, the air cools down. The warm air cools down. So at certain height, no, this rising air with some moisture, yung moisture dito dahil mas malamig na siya as compared to lower levels, nagko-condense na. And at some heights, it forms cloud. So this cloud is already in liquid form, is in liquid as a state in the form of cloud. So these clouds, ito na yung result na itong condensation. So yan yung process ng condensation natin. Proceed tayo sa precipitation. So precipitation basically occurs when clouds become saturated or heavy enough for ascending air to support them. Kapag masyado na mabigat yung mga nag-condense na water vapor, yung cloud natin sa above, so hindi na siya kayang suportahan ng rising streams of air. So, ang mangyayari na nito, ibabagsak niya na yung mga water vapor, yung mga water doon sa cloud in the form of precipitation, in the form of rainfall. Okay. So most clouds fall back to the ocean while some of it were driven to land due to wind. And some of the falling raindrops, so habang bumabagsak sila, evaporates before even reaching the surface. So this is called virga. So an example nito ay itong nandito sa figure. So this is virga. So ito nakita niyo yung mga parang usok-usok na yon, that is virga. So ang nangyayari diyan is that bago pa man ma-reach ng raindrop yung surface, nag-evaporate na siya, nasa aloft pa lang siya. At tawag diyan ay virga. Tayo sa groundwater. So, ano ba tong groundwater? So, some of the water kapag umulan, no? it seeps into the shallow layer of the soil, which enriches the moisture content of the soil. So this process is called infiltration. So titingnan mo dito. So kapag ka yung soil natin can still hold some water, so sisipsipin niya pa ng soil yung inulan na tubig. And minsan, di ba, kapag konti lang yung ulan, tuyo kaagad kasi nag-penetrate na at the shallow layer of the soil. And after that, some of the water na infiltrate sa soil kapag merong plants within the area. So some of the water is being used by the plants and returned to the surface through the process called evapotranspiration. So evapotranspiration is basically just the combination of evaporation and transpiration process. So the remaining water from the infiltrated water in the shallow layer of the soil reaches greater depth. So mas malalim. So ito, mas malalim and to become groundwater. So this process of reaching into a greater depth is called percolation. So yung groundwater yun yung tubig na fresh water na nandun sa ground. Usually ito yung nasa deep well natin, kung alam niyo deep well, yung poso. So, yanon. Okay. So punta tayo sa next. This is runoff. So runoff, so when rainfall is heavy and the soil is saturated, the water flows over the land called runoff. So dahil hindi na kayang hindi na kayang sumipsip pa ng tubig yung lupa, no? Ang nangyayari, bumabaha na. Itong baha na to ay tawag natin diyan ay runoff. Okay. So runoff, there are two basic kinds of runoff. We have the surface runoff. So these are running water over the land, which ultimately discharges water to the sea. And we also have subsurface runoff. So this is water na nag-infiltrate into some pervious soil mass that makes its way going towards the rivers, lakes. So yan yung hydrologic cycle natin. Now, we proceed to water budget equation. So ano ba tong water budget equation naman na to? So surface water balance is basically estimated using ground observation. So ano ba yung ino-observe natin dito? Basically yung precipitation, water storage in lakes, and ground water. So this hydrologic equation ay based upon the law of mass conservation. Ayan. So basically, ito yon. I equals O plus delta S, wherein I is the inflow of water during a given period. O is outflow naman ng water in a given period. And delta S is the change in the storage of water in a given period. So we can further expand this equation as this. So P plus R in plus G in equals R out plus G out plus E plus T plus or minus delta S, wherein P refers to precipitation, R in is surface inflow, G in is groundwater inflow, R out is surface outflow, G out is groundwater outflow, E is evaporation, T for transpiration, and delta S for change in lake storage or change in the storage of a given reservoir.